Well, I got shingles.
What?
Yep.
Ah, it sucks.
Shingles.
The old chicken pox.
It's just, yeah, I don't know what's going I don't know what's going on. The stress has driven me off a cliff, I guess, with my body or whatever.
His best bets.
My best
cannot
bets
hit.
just driving me insane.
Just
So
kidding.
now I officially have shingles.
Blame the best bets. I think that's totally fair.
Yeah, well, we're the Better-in-Laws podcast. I'm Tuck Silva, joined along brother-in-law Matt Prisco. How are you? How are you doing?
Better than you, I guess.
Yeah.
Don't have shingles. I'll tell you that much.
I'm taking these like horse pills right
great.
now. It's they are interesting giant pills I have to take 3 times a day.
Oh, it's just what you
I
want.
got this huge rash on my chest and my shoulder. It looks like I'm a burn victim of some sort.
Good. Little David Njoku.
I knew something was David. Yeah, exactly. Hey, at least he got a touch. At least he won something. He had a
Yeah, he's
touchdown
been
last
hot.
week.
He's been hot.
But yeah, I knew something was up last week. I was just stiff as shit, and it finally came out Friday morning. I just came down with this rash. Went to the doctor. Luckily, I had the day off. He's like, "Yep, shingles."
Yeah, that's not what you want.
He's like, "Have you been missing a lot of bets, gambling?"
Did
And
he
I was
ask?
like, no.
I mean, you're
Yes,
hitting
yes,
61% or whatever it is
Yes,
over here,
yes.
so you're fine there. It's just your best bet.
The best bets are a joke. Although this past week, I must say, was much closer than the previous 2 best bets,
Yeah, there's
which were
only one way
over
to
in a
go.
matter of 90 seconds.
That's right. One way to go went up.
Yeah.
But you know what I was thinking about? I'm like, this poor bastard.
Yeah.
If he can't get an over when there's 2 pick sixes,
Oh,
we got issues.
Oh, okay. So on top of this best bet thing, I need to recap this stupid parlay that I hit for anytime touchdowns. I sent to you a screen grab
yes.
of it. It was bet $2. You know, it's just like a whatever. Just like if it hits, fantastic. But you bet $2, you get $970 back.
All right.
It was a anytime TD parlay of the likes of Aaron Jones,
Touchdown.
anytime touchdown, Aaron Jones, Chris Olave, Bijan Robinson, David Njoku, who we mentioned there, somebody else. I forget who else. I'm trying to pull it up here. But either way, I hit all.
You had like 8 guys, didn't you?
I had seven picks. You know, I acknowledge it's a stupid bet. I totally acknowledge that. But
All parlays are.
yeah, but it's $2 to win 970. So I'm like, okay, well, I feel very. Oh, here it is, right here. I feel very good about all of these players. It was Ramondre Stevenson, Chris Olave, David Njoku, Bijan Robinson, Rashad White, Aaron Jones, and Josh Jacobs. Every one of them, except for Bijan Robinson, got anytime touchdowns.
Yeah.
So Robinson was at the 1-yard line, and they didn't even give him the ball.
No. He's
So the whole thing with Atlanta is just weird, and Arthur Smith is a weirdo. I'm coming to realize. I feel like
stop it with Tyler Algier.
so it was plus 416, 48 plus 48,416,
Jesus.
and I hit on 6 of 7 of those players.
Bijan.
On top of that, I told you about my the parlay that I do with my buddies every week. It's
Yeah.
a $50 parlay. We each give out a pick, $10 a head.
Yep.
Every one of them hit except for mine. It was the Saints doink pick.
Stop it.
It was the Saints.
Our double like.
It was kick the field goal late in the game. Doink. Missed. Did not cover. Everybody else covered. I had
That's
that going for me.
Not good.
And then I'm like, all right, well, maybe my luck will turn around with this Colts and Panthers game. And Bryce Young could not manufacture any sort of offense whatsoever. 3 picks. 2 of them went for pick 6, mind you. But, yeah, that point total did not hit. It was 40. I had the over 44, as we all know. So
Well, now I know why you have shingles.
not a great. Well, that was while I had shingles.
Oh, you
So-
had it?
No,
You had it
yeah,
by
I
then?
confirmed shingles.
Oh, all right.
And then I had that Sunday, which is not great. So I'm looking to bounce back, please.
I mean,
in life,
you don't bounce
and in
back.
gambling. So yes, let's just quickly recap Week 9. I already gave out my best bet that I missed again.
Yeah.
But why don't you just run through everything real
Yeah,
quick?
2 and 3 last week. Tuck lost the best bet. Colts, Panthers over 4.
Into the mic, please.
Yep. Sorry. Yep. different zone.
Yeah,
here.
we are in a different studio. I should probably acknowledge that. Hurley is on vacation, so we're at my studio here of the Financial Exchange Show here. And big thanks to Ben Kitchen for running the show for us today.
Yes, thank
here.
you, Ben.
So that's why we're in a different studio. Probably should have let off with that. Sorry.
That's all right.
Go
Different
ahead.
mic, different studio. We're gonna get through it. So you lost the best bet. We also you lost the two double likes that we had. The Saints, the Doink Saints win that game in turnovers 4-0.
Double misses.
And still couldn't put the ball through the uprights. Going for it on 4th and 1. So many chances inside the Bears' 40-yard line in the fourth quarter and came away with 0 points. We missed by the hook there. That was a tough one. Seahawks, we were just dead wrong on that one. The Chiefs, you started out the day with that as a winner, and the Browns and Cardinals under 37.5 was an easy win as well. So 2-3 for you, Tuck, bringing your yearly record to 27, 17, and 1.
All right,
still
at least I
doing
got
really
that
good
going.
there. It's still great, man. Best bets 2 and 7. So just got to turn those around. For myself, my winning week streak is now come to a close. Also with a 2-3, I did hit the Philadelphia Eagles by the skin of my teeth. -3 there. Philadelphia tried to give that game away, but Dallas was like, "Nah, we don't want it, so we're not gonna score here." But lucky for me, got the win. So we talked about the two double likes that we lost there, Saints and Seahawks. Also lost Monday Night Football with the Jets. I felt like half my handicap was dead on. They shut down the Chargers and Justin Herbert, but on the flip side, they could do nothing. And every time they did, they'd turn the ball over. So typical Jets offense.
Infuriating to watch.
That was a tough loss. But my best bet, Tuck, I told you, is the second biggest play I've ever made in my life. It was on the Bengals, -2. Easy winner. I know the game at the end, the score was a lot closer than the game actually was. Cincinnati, I never in doubt bet there. Loved the way that they're playing. So -2 there. Best bets for me now, 7-2 on the season.
Very good.
Overall record 23-22. Got to get hot here this week. Although I don't love the card, but as a wise man once said, Tucker, when you hate the card, you got to make it love you. So that's what we're here to do.
Is that what the wise man said?
It's a big cat from Barstool.
Oh, okay. All right. He is a wise man. I will say that. Yeah. Before we just move ahead to Week 10, I also forgot one more misfortune of luck that I had.
Oh, yeah.
When you brought up the Jets, that brought back this same game parlay that I had. I had over receptions for Breece Hall hit.
Mm-hmm.
Alternate rushing yards over rushing yards 40 hit, and then I came up 7 yards short of 17 receiving yards. He had 10, and they went to Michael Carter in garbage time there, and that should have won, but they took him out. So that was another, notch in the misfortune belt for the old Tuck here.
Yeah, I don't love that for you, buddy.
Yeah,
it was just a bad week for you.
Yeah.
Let's turn it around.
Bad everything.
Life, gambling, turning it around this weekend.
Yes. All right, so let's look ahead to Week 10 here. If you're just checking us out for the first time, thank you. We're going to start off giving out 4 likes. Then we'll go through the rest, and then we'll give out our best bet at the end of the podcast. And if you haven't done so already, please subscribe to us on YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, @BetterInLaws. And very important, please leave us a review on Apple podcasts or wherever you listen to your podcast. Give us a little review. That very much helps us. And, okay, very good. We'll move ahead to Week 10 here. Bet from me, my first like here.
Why don't you skip the first one on the sheet?
Because that is
your double like and my best bet. So we'll go to that at the end.
Oh, did I just cut out? Okay, there we go. Yeah, let's skip that one then.
Okay.
All right, so I'm going to stick very easy here. Give me the Cowboys -16, home versus the lowly Giants, who cannot get anything right. They just welcomed back Daniel Jones. Then he came back on the road in Vegas. Yes, it was a revamped, energized Raiders team with the firing of Josh McDaniels and Antonio Pierce taking over. But they lost Daniel Jones for the year to a torn ACL. So Cowboys coming off of a loss. They are 11-1 against the spread following a loss since 2021. Now they'll be home where they've won 11 in a row, I believe, at home. 10 or 11.
10 or 11. I think it is 11.
Yeah. And they're going to be facing one Tommy DeVito in the Giants. I'm not even kidding. I don't know if the Giants put up any points.
Yeah, it's not. It's going to be really ugly.
Yeah.
This is gross.
This line might move to 17 and a half. So
yeah, I could see that.
I just don't see how the Cowboys, A, keep this one close with the divisional opponent, with the Giants, and B, I don't know how the Giants score any points. So give me the Cowboys in a smash home game coming off a tough loss in Philly, which they very well could have won.
Mm-hmm.
I think they're going to be pissed off. I think they're going to absolutely manhandle the Giants home. Give me Cowboys minus 16. Nice and easy for me.
What the Cowboys do, they beat bad teams, and they beat them up pretty bad. Can't argue with it. It's a big number.
It's a
Staying
huge
away
number.
from it, but I'll say this, the Giants are just...
They're really bad.
They're dreadful.
Well, now they're going to be thinking with this ACL now on top of that, Daniel Jones' recovery time might be pushed off until later in training camp. Maybe
good.
I mean, unless he comes on the Aaron
Well,
Rodgers
not good.
program.
We're not
then.
rooting for injuries here, but good for the Giants.
But,
it's just I know they just
I know what
signed
you're
him.
saying,
Draft
but
the quarterback.
They're gonna
rebuild it.
they're gonna be right there in the mix for quarterback, top 3 pick potentially. So they have to.
Got to be top 5 anyway.
I mean,
to start.
I don't know what you're gonna do with Daniel Jones in that contract, $160 million contract, whatever. You're probably gonna have to eat that, and no team is gonna want to take that contract. But you have a very expensive backup quarterback. That's my opinion.
It happens, and if you're going to rebuild, whatever, I'd do it that way. I really would. I think it's time to move on. I've seen enough anyways to begin with.
And it sucks that they have to go back to this. Do I keep cutting out? Is it because I'm moving the mic? I don't know. Whatever. It sucks that they have to go back to this well in terms of drafting a quarterback like they did with Daniel Jones. What was it, 4 or 5 years ago, whatever it was?
Yeah, but 5 now.
5, because of the
rookie
fifth year.
deals are 4 years.
So, but is what it is. You got to acknowledge the weakness there, and Daniel Jones is absolutely a weakness. So
let Daboll pick his guy and go from there. If you have a guy,
you think Daboll survives?
Yeah, I mean, he won Coach of the Year last year in his first year.
This
is not a Daboll problem.
It's New York.
This team is very bad.
Yeah,
this team is bad.
I acknowledge it is a Daboll problem. I mean, not a Daboll problem. It's definitely your front office issue.
They got the right guy there.
You never know in New York. That's all I'll say.
Fair, but I can't imagine that they get rid of him.
All right, what is your first like, Matthew?
All right, first bet for me, I'm going to go with the Pittsburgh Steelers -3. Tuck, you got to throw the stats away with the Steelers. We just watched this week in, week out. They're an absolute mess to watch, but at the end of the day, their defense makes key plays, and look, they're just playing better as of late. Coming off a mini bye, played Thursday Night Football. We don't tell you about Thursday Night Football bets, but we did tell you bet the Steelers on the show, and that did hit. It was close. That's what they do. They play close games. Pittsburgh's defense, we talk about how they make plays. We talk about how they show up. They're not on the stats looking that great. They're really not. But Green Bay is not the offense to take advantage of that, right? So Green Bay, 22nd in the NFL. Excuse me.
There's a cough
the
button.
Old throat.
The studio does have a cough button.
Cough? Oh, we got a cough button.
Yeah, you see that red button over there?
Oh, yeah, look at that.
Talk. See, we can't hear you.
Oh, beautiful. All right, look at that. Talking. All right, I got a cough button now. This is great.
Isn't this nice?
I love this.
Not that the other one's
I'm
not
learning
nice.
on the
I'm
fly.
just saying.
Learning on the fly here. Green Bay, 22nd in the NFL, rushing the football. They're also 22nd passing the ball. And Jordan Love has just looked atrocious. I don't think there's going to be a ton of points in this game. I like Green Bay's defense, the way they're playing. But
point total is 39 in here.
Yeah, and I do very much lean the under in this game. This said, I think Pittsburgh, we started to see them mix and match Jalen Warren. Najee Harris has looked better the last couple of weeks. They got a good spreading that out between Warren and Harris.
Jalen Warren had
carries.
a nice game, yeah.
Yeah, and I like where they're mixing and matching there. I think they've kind of given up on Harris being the bell cow, which is a good thing for them. Mixing in Warren is definitely giving them a spark on offense. And as gross as Kenny Pickett is at time, he does step up and make some plays for you when you need it. And that's what you want. With Jordan Love, I don't see him stepping up and making those plays when Green Bay needs it. So for me, I like Pittsburgh in this game. It's back-to-back home games. I made the game Pittsburgh -4.5. So when I'm getting a field goal here, I absolutely love that. I think Pittsburgh wins this game closer to 7. than I do 3. So give me the Steelers right here, -3 at home.
Well, you just answered my follow-up question, which was when this does move to 3.5, which I think it will, would you still be on top of that? And the answer is yes. You will.
Yeah, I mean, look, 3 is a very, very key number in the NFL.
Sure,
so,
yeah.
You get some protection there if you're betting the 3. That said, I wouldn't be opposed to laying 3.5 if it goes that way.
Any
I see
hesitation
market moving that way a
to
little
the
bit.
Steelers matchup next week and what's going to be a pivotal matchup with the Browns?
I don't, because this team is, look, everybody in that division is 5-3 or better. The Steelers, they can't afford to look ahead week to week. They're not as talented as the other 3 teams. So you got to take care of business in this game. You're a better team than Green Bay. Green Bay won last week, Tuck, against the Rams, but that was more about the Rams and how they looked without Stafford, all the injuries that they have on that offense. I did not think Green Bay performed well in that game despite the score. I think the Steelers, like I said, I'm not worried about this.
Yep.
I think they win closer to a touchdown in this one. I don't think the look ahead's much to look at. So, yeah, that's where I'm at.
Next like for me, my second like is going to be both teams coming off a bye here. The San Francisco 49ers and the Jacksonville Jaguars in Jacksonville. Point total here I'm seeing is 45.5. Mm-hmm. This is one of those weird interconference games that's going to get out of hand. Maybe similar to what we saw with the Buccaneers and Texans last week. And now I know that these are two very much better teams with the Niners and the Jaguars, but I think this has shootout potential.
Okay.
Deebo Samuel looks like he's going to be coming back for the 49ers. Trent Williams will be back in the mix here. Niners, they're going to be looking to make a statement out of the chute here with the bye week. Much needed bye week here.
Yeah.
With Brock Purdy needing to get his act together pretty much because that offense has not looked great. The defense has looked dreadful. They did pick up Chase Young, which is going to really give that locker room a lift and a spark, but they will be going on the road to Jacksonville, so I can see a lot of points in this one here. Jacksonville, by the way, have won 5 in a row, and they're going to be looking to show the world that they are for real. They are not fake, and this is a very tough opponent here with the Niners. So give me the over here, 45.5.
All right, buddy. I have no feel on the total of this game.
It just screams shootout to me. That's as simple as that.
I could see it. I could see a defensive game. I could see a shootout. I could see the Jags winning. I could see the Niners winning. Putting my fandom aside, my numbers say Jacksonville, though I think I've actually downgraded the 49ers probably a little too much, and considering Deebo and Trent Williams will be back in this game, I want to see what they look like, and I'm hoping, as a fan, they look more like the team they were the first 5 than they did the last 3 or so out there. So no play for me. My numbers, like I said, was a slight lean to Jacksonville in this game, but also both teams coming off a bye, Niners getting healthier. The Jaguars have won 5 in a row, and listen, I've been a big fan of what they're doing. I like what they're doing. They haven't exactly played Murderer's Row on the schedule either. So, like, this is a step up in class for them. This is a big game. I'm interested to watch it.
Well,
obviously,
I mean,
as a fan,
they beat
but
the Bills.
The Bills, yeah, but they're reeling, and they were reeling at that point. That was like the first game where they were really banged up.
Still
they
legit,
lost Milano in that game.
Still a legit opponent.
Oh yeah, it's a great. Oh, of course, that was a nice win, but by far their best win. But again, that was also in London, where they were in back-to-back weeks there in London. Little advantage there. So we'll see. We're going to learn about the Jaguars, and I'm just more hoping that the Niners get back on track. No play for me.
And just FYI, currently on FanDuel, that is at 45.5. On DraftKings, it's at 46.5.
Yeah, take the FanDuel.
Yeah, exactly.
5.5.
Second like for you, excuse me.
All right, going back to the well, give me the Cincinnati Bengals -6.5, Tuck. At first, I was like, do I want to fade the Bengals this week? And the answer was really no, I don't, because I told you last week they're trending in the absolute right direction. Other than Baltimore, not sure anybody playing better the last couple of weeks than the Bengals for me. Look, last week, Joe Burrow comes out on fire, offense right down the field, 7-0, beautiful start. This is a step up in class for Houston, right? I think everyone's looking at this game. We all saw what Houston did last week. Incredible win pulling that out against Tampa
honestly,
Bay with C.J. Stroud.
It was the number one story in the Week 9 last week.
No question. C.J. Stroud
Texans.
absolutely stepping up. 40 seconds. What do you have? 75 yards he had to go.
Yeah.
Just a perfect drive through a couple perfect balls.
What a game.
Good for Houston, but the defense is still a little leaky here. We're still the Texans at the end of the day,
Yeah.
and I think this is, like I said, it's a step up in class. We're seeing a healthier Bengals team come in. Again, Cincinnati, another team, you kind of have to put the stats to the side because they're skewed. The first couple of games, they're playing with an injured Joe Burrow. They're playing with an injured offensive line. The defense was a little banged up. Now everyone's getting healthier. You can see the way they're playing. They're looking like a top team in the AFC.
Mm-hmm.
And for me, I think this is just a step up in class for Houston. If I'm getting under a touchdown, which I did this morning at MGM, 6.5 Cincinnati. It's still 6.5 at MGM right now.
DraftKings is 7.
DraftKings moved to 7.
Mhm.
Okay. Looking across the window here, I just want to make sure the 6.5 is still a good, widely available number, and it is. You can get 6.5 at South Point. You get it at Caesars. 7 at DraftKings. 6.5 juiced at FanDuel. So the numbers are out there. Looks like it's trending between 6.5, 7. I love it under 7. I'd still bet it at 7. I think they win closer to double digits, though I would probably stop it at 7. For me, I made the game 8, so that's about where the line goes for me.
Yeah, this is a big boy pants game for the Texans here, going on the road in Cincinnati, coming off that huge win home versus the Buccaneers. This is a big spot for the Texans. I liked where the arrow's pointing, but yeah,
24th in defense against the pass, and the way Burrow's playing, not good.
The Bengals look like they finally figured it out.
Yeah.
And they look like the Bengals of old. My only hesitation is what is going on with Jamar Chase's back.
You know, it's funny you say that because he had a very slow game. He did have the back injury. Excuse me.
That would not shock me ahead of Thursday Night Football. Massive game with the Ravens on deck. Would not shock me if Jamar Chase sat out this one.
Yeah.
Does that change your opinion?
No. Because I loved what I saw from T. Higgins stepping up in there. I think Chase is going to play, even if he's a decoy. I think he's going to suit up for this team. That said, Higgins looked like the number one wide receiver. We know he can play that way. He has the ability to be a number one receiver. He doesn't have to be in Cincinnati. But, again, Houston 24th against the pass. I mean, Burrow was mixing in tight ends we've never even heard of in that game. He was fantastic. I think he's going to pick apart this Texans defense. I love the Bengals at home. I'm ecstatic getting under a touchdown in this game. This is close to my best bet.
Yeah, I could totally see that too. Yeah, I was very close to me, but I just decided to stay off it, that's all. My third is going to be another over here between the Washington Commanders and the Seattle Seahawks. Over 45.5. Give me that for a like. These are two very pass-happy offenses, and the Seahawks are coming off a horrendous non-competitive game on the road in Baltimore, which stunned me. Stunned you, too, because that was our double last week, was the Seahawks to be competitive.
Thought it would be a close game.
And cover 6. But on the other hand of it, on the other side of it, with the Commanders, it looks like Eric Bieniemy has finally figured something out on that offense, and now it's sort of looking like a high-functioning offense. Jahan Dotson's finally turned it on. He's had back-to-back big games. Terry McLaurin's being Terry McLaurin, and Sam Howell is chucking the ball all over the field. He looks like a legit investment in going forward for that franchise. I think it's going to be a high-scoring affair. I think the Seahawks are going to look to bounce back off that loss. By the way, Kenneth Walker has not looked like himself, so I think that leads more towards the pass-happy affair that I think is on deck here. And it's another weird, another matchup of two teams who don't really face each other that often. So I think it's going to be a high-scoring affair. Over 45.5, Washington and Seattle.
Yeah, I lean that way. I definitely lean the over in this game. I think you're on the right side there. No real fail in the total. I made the game 6, so no play there for me. I think Seattle bounces back, gets a win here, but if I had to play anything in this game, it would be over 45.5.
All right. Give me your final correct?
I get 2. So let me double up
okay.
because of the way that this works.
Yeah.
I'll do my 2 likes remaining. Let's first go with the 1 o'clock game. I'm going with Minnesota plus the 2.5. I like the way the Vikings are playing. They've won 4 in a row, and they're coming off back-to-back road wins. And look, we all know Kirk Cousins was available for the majority of one of those road wins, the Vikings winning in Green Bay. But last week was such a huge win for that Vikings team. They lose Jaron Hall, who they started early, Tuck. And in comes Josh Dobbs, who they just traded for, doesn't know the whole playbook. And he instantly came in and gave this team life. Leading them in that fourth quarter comeback was just huge for this team. The Vikings are now 5-4 in the season, and it doesn't look like what it did when Justin Jefferson went on the IR with that hamstring injury, right? All of a sudden, they've won 4 in a row without him. And here we are. Now they can get Jefferson back into the fold. I don't think he's going to play in this game. We'll find out. I think he's eligible to come off this week.
He's not going to.
I don't think he's going to either. But
still, that it is a factor.
Yes,
you know,
because if they win this game, that's a major boost. Now you're 6-4. Jefferson's like, okay, let's go. He was fired up on the sidelines.
Yeah,
like the team is fired up.
I mean, if anybody didn't see the post locker room celebration, go look it up. I mean, it's really awesome to see when Dobbs entered the locker room. They went absolutely bananas.
Yeah.
And just to put it in perspective, when what's his name, Jalen, who's the starting quarterback last week? The rookie,
Jaron Hall.
Excuse me. When he left the game, Dobbs was on the sideline with his offensive lineman going through his cadences.
Yeah.
That's how unprepared that he was, and nothing to criticize him, but that's what little window he had to prepare for this game since the trade.
Yep.
So what he did last week was really, really an amazing story.
Yeah. So
and I think they're going to carry that over. I'm with you on this.
Yeah, I think. One other thing, this is for Dobbs in general, you're getting a full week of practice with the ones. That's huge. You're getting to know the playbook a little bit more. Are you going to know the whole playbook? Probably not. That's going to take some time. But, you gave the team life, as we talked about. They're believing in themselves now. They don't think the season's a total loss without Kirk Cousins. Just turns their whole team around. Minnesota's D also, Tuck, playing really well under Brian Flores, sneaky. They're blitzing a ton. They're getting after the QB. Danielle Hunter leads the league in sacks with 10. And Derek Carr has not been great against pressure this year. So
that offense has been wildly inconsistent.
Yeah. We were on the Saints again last week, but it's not about. It's a week-to-week league, right? This has nothing to do with how the Saints played last week. It's more about what they've done in the season. They're inconsistent. I make this game pick, so I'm getting 2.5 points at home. I love that. I think it's a great spot for Minnesota coming back home. I think that place will be rocking. The Saints inconsistent. I look for the Minnesota Vikings to keep the winning streak alive. I'm taking the 2.5, and I'm sprinkling a little bit on that money line.
And by the way, it's a tough spot for the Saints, too. The fact that they're heading into this environment, which can get incredibly loud, but the fact that the Saints are also heading into a bye week in Week 11. So you wonder if the players will be looking ahead.
And that's a good point, Tuck, and I have this in my note, and I just decided to not read it. But I like to fade teams at this point in the season who have not had a bye week.
Yeah,
because this is an exhausting stretch, right? You've played 9 straight NFL games. If you haven't had a bye after this week, it's 10, right? So the later your bye is, the more tired these teams are. They want that bye. Easy to look ahead and say, okay, let's get through this one. We get the week off, rest ourselves. So that's something I look at. It's not an auto thing by any stretch of the imagination, but it is something to factor in.
So that is it for our likes.
Nope, I got one more. I did double
excuse
up.
me. Yeah.
Got double
sorry. I'm sorry. It's the shingles. I can't keep track of. I'm like operating at like 60% right now.
You know what?
You
look like you're operating at 100, and that's what matters most.
My face says otherwise, and so does my blister all over my body.
Jesus.
Actually, not all over my body. That would suck if it was on
all over your body. It's poison ivy shingles.
That would suck.
God.
No, it's really just on my chest and my shoulder and my back, and that's pretty much
it. Oh, that's it?
Yeah.
Okay. That's all. Just your entire upper body.
Yeah.
Outside of your face.
It feels like I got like a severe sunburn right now.
Yeah.
Anyways.
All right. Well.
That's why I'm very discombobulated right now.
Only one more like for me, and then you can move forward to the games we did not bet.
Yes.
All right? But here's one I did, and another one that I actually strongly like. Give me Detroit in the Chargers over 48.5. So, Tuck, I think we're getting a little bit of value here based on how the Chargers looked on Monday night. The offense looked so bad, as we told you it would on this show.
Yeah, the offense wasn't amazing at all.
Herbert threw for 136
And
yards.
Eckler
ran for 46 or something.
Yeah, but Eckler, even when he scored, he had to work like tremendous magic.
Yeah. I mean, the Jets turning the ball over,
Yeah.
it was more to do with that final
That's
score.
all it was. Yeah.
So I think you're getting a little value here because the Chargers, look, they are what they are. They're a terrible defensive team, and they're very above average. I won't say very good. They're a good above average offensive team. But what we're getting in this game, Tuck, are two pass-happy offenses when you get with the Lions and the Chargers. Jared Goff averaging just over 7 yards per pass. The Chargers giving up close to 8 yards per pass. So love that, first and foremost. The Chargers also giving up 68% completion percentage to quarterbacks, which is just insane. I expect Goff and the Lions to move the ball coming off a bye. I think they mix in Jahmyr Gibbs. You've seen him both in the run and pass game. Even if is Montgomery playing? I didn't even see this.
Yes.
He's playing
He
cool.
is listed as questionable. All indications are that he will be returning.
I'll tell you what. They cannot return him to the same role because Jahmyr Gibbs is just an electric player. But mix him in a little bit. He's worth it. But I still think they're going to kill the Chargers through the air in this game. On the flip side, the Chargers are going to get the pass going. The Lions have been exposed by good quarterbacks in this league who like to throw the ball. When you look at the statistics between the back half of the quarterback rankings to the above, the Lions have really succeeded against the Jordan Loves of the world in those games. But against the better quarterbacks, even Mahomes in the opener, Mahomes is probably the best quarterback. Well, he is the best quarterback in the NFL, fine. But, that was the best they played against a good quarterback, and he was playing without Travis Kelce, and they still gave up close to 300 yards passing in that game. Herbert's a lot better than the majority of what they've seen. I think this game lands in the 50s. I actually think this is going to be a relatively easy hit despite the high total. I think this is a pretty much 55.
Yeah, I mean, my only hesitation is that Chargers offense, really. I'm not really concerned about the Lions.
Yep.
Even if they're coming off a bye here, but the loss of Mike Williams has been absolutely
no Josh Palmer either.
I guess I don't know, devastating to that offense. Josh Palmer, add him to the loss mix there, so they really are reeling for a secondary wide receiver there, a perimeter wide out there, because the likes of Quentin Johnston, who's been a kind of a bust or has been a bust of a rookie wideout so far, and then Jalen Guyton, who's just a role player.
Yeah.
So that's my only hesitation on that total.
Jerry Everett, baby.
Yeah, Jerry Everett and Donald Parham.
So tell me about this line then, because this is the other thing. The Lions at 2.5 just feels so square.
It's actually moved to 3 on DraftKings.
Did it move to 3? It was 1.5 yesterday, and I'm like, what is this line?
It's a stay away.
It actually scared me.
Yeah.
It was so. It almost looked so, and I can't do it. I can't do it with the Chargers. If I 4 straight weeks, I've lost money again on the Chargers. 2 back and I'm 2 against.
My initial reaction to seeing this was to smash the Lions and make them my best bet.
Yeah.
But then I was just like, ooh, I don't know. I think the Chargers are maybe figuring stuff out on defense at least. Maybe they can keep that.
This could
close.
be a Lions home game, though. The way the Detroit fans have been
that's true.
traveling.
That's a good point.
The way they're traveling this year, and they've deserved it.
Yeah, you saw it with the Steelers game with the Rams, right?
Yeah, I mean, anything in L.A.
Any of those like top franchises or old school franchises, they travel very well.
Sure do, and they'll be there.
Yeah,
this will be a 70-30 Lions crowd.
Yeah, that's a good point. All right, so just to recap real quick, our likes so far: Cowboys -16, San Francisco, Jacksonville over 45.5, over 45.5 for Washington, Seattle. I will give out another like, which is going to be your best bet later on in the podcast. Your likes are Pittsburgh -3, Cincinnati -6.5, Minnesota +2.5, and Detroit, L.A. Chargers over 45.5.
48.5.
Excuse me, 48.
I would love 45.5
Yeah.
if we could get that number.
It's 48.5. Don't mind my shingles. All right, so let's just go to the rest here. Thursday night football, no Thursday night bets, but I am looking at the under and -4 here for the Bears, honestly.
Lay it with the Bears?
I would, yeah. It looks like they're getting back Justin Fields, right, for this one?
Yeah, maybe.
And then they're Donta Foreman and Rashawn Johnson and Khalil Herbert's going to be coming back
too?
there. Sounds like it, yeah. And that's a nice little backfield they got there, believe it or not. Donta Foreman looks good. He looks pretty good. But either way, -4 Bears.
Psycho
home
with the Bears
favorite here. And 39-point total here. No Thursday night bets, but yes, under.
Definitely under. You're psycho with the Bears.
I don't know if the Panthers could put up double digits in this one, honestly, after seeing what Bryce Young did last week against the Colts.
Yeah, he continues to take, 2 steps forward, 1 step back, 1 step forward, 2 steps back.
And this is with the new offensive coordinator or play caller, too.
Yeah.
Which was supposed to benefit Young, but Young just looks absolutely lost. Like, the Colts are like a fine, mediocre, middle-of-the-pack defense. Like, they got some playmakers there, but 3 picks, 2 of them pick sixes.
Not good.
Not good at all, Bryce. Not good at all.
Long way to go.
Let's move ahead here to the just looking through our likes and our best bets. Titans at Buccaneers. Buccaneers, tough loss last week, although they covered. Yep. -1 here. Point total is 38.5. You got the Titans coming off of a bye. Any leans for you in this matchup?
Yeah, actually lean the Titans here. I like what I'm seeing from Will Levis in his time playing quarterback. Even Thursday night, I was a little nervous being back in the Steelers there, I'll be honest.
I was saying this off air. Levis looks like a linebacker.
Oh, yeah, he's a big dude.
Absolutely ripped.
Yeah, big dude.
Yeah.
Big dude.
He can sling it, man.
Yeah, he can sling it. I think he's given the offense a little bit more life, right?
Especially Hopkins, yeah.
Especially Hopkins. He's Hopkins looks like his old self now,
yeah.
right? So that's a definite upgrade at the quarterback position, Tuck. And on the flip side, I still can't get behind Tampa no matter what they do. I don't know. I just can't. Baker Mayfield just looks like, I said this last week, he looks like he's going backwards. I don't want any part of that.
I don't think Baker's look terrible.
Well,
he looks like...
It depends. If I put money on the Bucs, he's playing terrible.
He looks like an above-average Baker Mayfield, which I don't know if that's saying a lot, but...
Yeah, I don't.
I mean, he put up... What did they put up? 35 points last week?
Yeah, that's true.
Like Rashad White actually took a nice step forward.
Rashad White had a nice game. And
yeah,
it was
2
good to see.
touchdowns. He had 7 grabs out of the backfield, something like that.
Yeah, all right, fine.
But
fine, I'll give you fine.
By the way, DeAndre Hopkins over the past 2 weeks has 17 targets.
Yeah, that's what you want.
From Will Levis
That's what
there.
you want.
Yeah. I would give the advantage probably to Vrabel there coming off a bye week, get those guys refocused, and maybe make a wild card push here.
It was very close to being a like for me.
Let's go ahead. This was very close to being a like for me. Kyler Murray making his return for the Arizona Cardinals here. They're still home dogs, +1.5. Point total here is 43.5. Looks like James Conner will be returning to the Cardinals' backfield as well off of his multi-week stint on the injured list. I was very close to liking the Cardinals' money line here.
Okay.
That place is going to be as bumping as it possibly could be.
Yeah.
Put it nicely.
Yeah.
Like the team's going to be, looking to rally around the return of Kyler Murray. It does seem like his teammates like him.
Yeah.
And then you got James Conner, who's very easy to root for. And you have that formula, too, that we talked about earlier of a team heading into the bye week with the Falcons here on the road, West Coast, heading into a bye week. I could totally see them kind of burrowing here in their bye week cave here.
Yeah, okay.
And it just doesn't feel right in Atlanta right now. The whole thing with Arthur Smith and Bijan Robinson is like their role player who they spent an 8th-round draft pick on. They're not utilizing Kyle Pitts the right way.
No.
And you're coming off a devastating loss against the Falcons last week, home.
So
so if I had a lean, it would be the Cardinals' money line.
Yeah, I can't get behind either team. Only because I want to know a few things. First of all, I expect Kyler to be a little rusty. He hasn't played in almost a year and a half. So
and I want to see how much he actually scrambles in this game.
Yeah, exactly. So we got that. How much are you going to move around? What do you look like? What do you look like without DeAndre Hopkins and Zach Ertz playing on the field together?
Yep. Fair.
One thing that I will mention about this game, and it's nothing to do with gambling, but a little bit of a fantasy piece of advice for people in season-long leagues. I've done this myself, but I'm grabbing Rondale Moore. Rondale Moore and Kyler Murray had a nice connection before the
kind of
injury.
A gadget player, right?
Yeah, a little gadget player, but he can be the receiver, and now he is their number 2 receiver behind Marquise Brown. I think between Murray and him, they have a nice little connection. I expect that to pick back up as bad as Rondale has been thus far this season. Stash him. I think it's worth a stash for you.
Marquise Brown's got to be salivating and playing with Kyler Murray, too.
Somebody back.
Yeah, exactly. If I had to lean, it would be the Cardinals' money line there, but that's it. That's all I got. Jets on the road to take on the triumphant Raiders, who are still in the running for a wild card spot, believe it or not.
Raiders won the Super Bowl last week.
Home dogs +1. Point total here is 36 points. This was also close to being a like for me to actually take the Jets, with the Raiders coming off of a cigar smoking loss in the locker room, which I thought was a little embarrassing, if you ask me.
Yeah.
Like, your coach was just fired and you won, so now you're all sparking cigars?
We get it. You hated Josh McDaniels.
But nonetheless, the locker room is
what matters.
Is bumping.
Yeah. Hey, I did say, not an official play, I would be on Vegas.
You would be.
Last week. I said that. I believed
in
the one.
Yeah.
And, man, I was mad that I didn't make that one of my official picks. I did bet the game, so it was nice to have.
Isn't the track record of a team coming off of firing a coach like massive? Like
especially
they're always
when they hate
they
him,
almost
like
always
Josh McDaniels.
Yeah, they almost like always win, right?
It was unprecedented, like the amount of trash talk that was happening after he was out the door.
He just did not resonate well in that locker room whatsoever. You dope.
Yeah, he's an absolute moron. I'm away from this game. I bet the Jets last week getting the field goal at home, and their offense could do nothing. I expect similar things to continue. It's hard to predict when the Jets' offense is going to show up. I'll say that. So I want no part of this game. As far as
Jets have the Bills next week, by the way. That was my hesitation on this one.
Yep. And then Vegas they're definitely in a better place. Look, we can laugh all we want about Vegas. There's talent on that team. Like
there is.
It's just a matter
of...
And
their defense looks much better than it has in recent years.
Yeah. I want nothing to do with Zach Wilson on the road there, and I also don't really want anything to do with Aiden O'Connell against that Jets defense. So no play for me. If anything, I'd probably lean the under here, but staying off it. And
the final matchup before we get to our best bet, Monday Night Football, Broncos, Bills. Bills favored by 7.5 here, which looked surprisingly low to me, just my opinion. Broncos coming off a bye week. The point total on this one is 47. What do you think about that line? Because do you agree with my sentiment that it looks a little low, or is it a stay away with the uncertainty of the Bills here?
It's a stay away. The uncertainty of the Bills, Denver coming off a bye. Denver's disgusting. I just like even Russ in the wins they've had, he's even thrown for 200 yards. The Bills are so banged up on defense, Tuck. I can't lay 7.5 against anybody right now. They are just a mess. It's part of the reason I loved Cincinnati so much last week. I can't back this team right now, though it is Monday Night Football. If you want, the Bills are going to win this game. Are they going to win by 7.5? I don't know. So. Little teaser opportunity, I would say. I like to tease the Bills down.
Okay.
And for me, I would pair that.
Into the microphone.
I did pair that, actually. I'm just looking up what.
Jesus.
Sorry. I did pair that with two teams, actually. I did two separate teasers, Bills and both. The Bills teased them down with the Bengals.
Okay.
So 6-point teaser, bringing them down. I have the Bengals by 0.5 point. I have the Bills minus 1.5, so that's one bet. I also have the Bills minus 1.5 with the Tennessee Titans going up to 7.5 in that game. So through the key numbers, there's 3 and 7, the old Wong teasers. I like both of those, so that's how I played this game. So I could have some Monday night action.
All right, there you go. Low. So let's move ahead to my final like and our best bets. And I did not mention my final like because that is your best bet.
Yep.
So why don't you just take it away?
Let me take it.
Yes.
All right. Well, there's one game left, and it's the Germany game.
Yep.
The Indianapolis Colts and the New England Patriots. And Tuck, I saw this line, and I hit it very, very quickly. Indianapolis -1.5. Best bet. Look, New England's 2-7. The best players
Kind
are
of like
banged.
my best bets.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's all I'm
That's
doing. I'm
actually
just
a fact.
going with
You're
the Patriots.
Pats.
Yeah, I'm the Pats.
Good.
Best bets.
Good.
Just shitty.
Good. Well, your best bet's about to be 2-8, so fade Tucker because Indy is covering in this game. Look, the Pats are just so banged up on defense with Judon out, Christian Gonzalez today, J.C. Jackson staying home. He missed curfew. Couple other players missed curfew. They won't be on the flight.
One other note, too, is offensive line coach Adrian Clem is actually away from the team for personal health matter, which, thoughts and prayers. But
great.
that's just not – for an offensive line that was already struggling. And I know they figured it out over the past couple of weeks, it seems like, or at least taking a step in the right direction. But that cannot be good at all.
No.
So it seems like the locker room is finally falling apart here.
Oh, yeah. That's part of my handicap here.
Whatever was going on with J.C. Jackson, and I guess the report is that he was late to the team hotel or
Not
something like
reliable,
that.
as Ian Rappaport
Which I don't
put it.
understand why he was late to the team hotel when they were home. Like, is there just they always stay there? Oh, okay. Why do they stay there if they're curfew? Oh,
Curfew, baby.
Oh, okay. Thank you, Ben. Appreciate
A
that.
little curfew.
So even if it's a home matchup, they all stay at the hotel. Isn't that nice?
And they just lost to the Washington Commanders at home.
Yeah.
Who just traded their two best players on a shitty defense.
Yeah.
And you still couldn't win.
And it was this whole weird thing with Jack Jones.
He's the other one that was late for curfew.
Yeah. And he was like posting to social after the game. The whole thing just stinks. And
Keyshawn Booty saying he's playing, so
yeah,
they bench him?
that was
what
the
was
other
that
thing.
about?
Like Keyshawn Booty was like he was trending in the right direction.
So bizarre.
Well, he should know better though.
Yeah,
but,
sure.
Like the
Rookie,
kid kind of
sure.
like looks like he's kind of like just a rookie dope, Just like
Do
figure
you know
it out,
the Keyshawn Booty LSU story?
No, I don't.
Okay. Just Google that after the show.
Why? Just tell me.
Find out about Keyshawn Booty and what happened with him at LSU. He's a 5-star recruit at LSU. His numbers kept going down and down. It seemed like when Brian Kelly got there, things were like he just wasn't checked in the last year. It was very odd.
Yeah.
Turns out he was a part of this like sex scandal with teachers. Why he dropped in the draft. And
Okay.
He's not showing much maturity or brain.
So
I'll
he
tell you
makes
this.
boneheaded moves.
He's a bonehead.
Yeah.
But you know what? He's got talent. Get him on the field, Bill. Jesus, you keep trotting out these
I
stiffs.
guarantee you he would make some sort of an impact, whether it's like at least
Can't be worse.
4 to 5 catches, something like that, on this thing called the sideline, which the Patriots receivers cannot make catches on.
It's just insane. The thing about the locker room, too, just to add to this, Tuck, I totally agree. Part of the handicap I have, like, you listen to the interviews, the players, it's like there's no accountability being taken from these teams.
You're 2-7.
You're 2-7. It feels like the players don't believe in the coaching staff. They don't believe in Mac Jones. Now, hey, kumbaya, let's get on a plane and go halfway across the world to Germany.
Yay.
This feels like a fist fight's about to break out on that plane. Never mind like a team bonding experience.
So it's a like for me, and
Yeah.
it's your best bet. Why is this so low? Because of the Patriots? Just because of that name?
It's too inside. Like I think it's more about the Colts. Like the Colts are still playing with a backup quarterback. They've lost 3 of 4. They did win last week, and it was actually
Heading into
the
a bye
offense's
week, though.
worst.
Yep.
It's
Both teams are.
Both teams heading into a bye. So, I just think this is an awful spot for New England because to go across the country to play a team that's actually coming off a win, excited, young head coach. They get
Colts need
Jonathan
this
Taylor
one.
back.
Colts need this
Colts
one.
are gonna. It
5.
means more to them.
Yeah.
To the Patriots, it is what it is at this point. Losing last week said everything to me about them. In the last 4 games, Tuck, just to go through this for the Colts, their offense, 20 points they scored in a loss to Jacksonville. All right, but then 38 in a 1-point loss to Cleveland, who's the best defense in the league, second best defense. Baltimore, Cleveland, flip a coin. 27 against a very solid New Orleans defense. 27 at Carolina. Yes, 2 pick sixes, but allowed them to play a little bit more ball control on offense than air it out. The Patriots can't get to 20. They've done it twice this year, once against the Eagles in week 1, and then they did it against the Bills in week 7. But that's a number they struggle to get to. If they don't get to 20, they're losing this game flat out.
Yeah.
They just scored 17 against Washington without Young and Sweat being on the team, and they were already a terrible defense to begin with. I think this team's just going in the wrong direction. I'm seeing regression out of Mac Jones. Indy, -1.5. This is my favorite play.
Yeah, I would be stunned if this was at 1.5 come Sunday morning. But you never know. Point total on that one, by the way, is 43.5. I would make a little sprinkle on the Colts scoring.
Team total?
Colts defense scoring.
Oh, Colts
Excuse
defense
me.
scoring.
Yes,
Okay.
we saw 2 pick sixes last week, and we've seen it all year with Mac Jones in this offense, throwing a horrendous pick or a fumble. I think it's coming again.
What can we get that?
I would bet it's like
touchdowns.
I
plus
doubt
500.
I doubt it's posted right now, but I would venture to guess it's like plus 900, 9-1, something like that.
Jeez, I feel like it'll be a little lower because of Mac.
Yeah. Well, all right. So that is your best bet. My best bet this week, again, fade. My Shingles best bet of the week. Give me the Ravens -6 home versus the Browns. Now, I know that Thursday Night Football looms here. I mentioned that earlier between the Ravens and Bengals in a huge matchup. But I think that the Ravens take care of business here. Let me just run through what they've done at home so far this year. They've won 25-9 versus the Texans. They lost in overtime versus the Colts at home, 22-19. Tennessee, they won 24-16. Detroit spanked 38-6. And then last week, Seattle spanked 37-3. This is a team that has finally or is figuring or putting it more together each week. They look like they are a legit Super Bowl contender, and I would venture to guess that they think that the public still doesn't believe in them for some reason. And I think they make a statement this week. And they smashed this divisional opponent this week, and they won in week 4, 28-3. Yeah, I know that what's his face was quarterbacking for the Browns. DTR, is that?
Yeah.
So he was the quarterback there. So I understand. Like, throw it out there, but how often do you see the Browns winning 2 in a row here? Like, you don't see it often. It's usually like Browns like win 1, drop 1, win 1, drop 1. And I think they drop 1 here.
Yeah.
I know that Deshaun Watson's back. I just don't think it's that big of a factor here. The Browns defense is legit, yes, but the Ravens defense is legit as well. So give me the Ravens home -6. I think they can win this one by a touchdown. No problem. I'm not worried about a backdoor or anything here. But you also have to make note that the Browns next week have a big divisional game with the Steelers too.
Yeah.
It's as simple as that.
Ravens-Bengals next week, though, too.
Yeah, I said that.
Oh, yeah.
Let off with that. Thanks for listening.
Sorry, wasn't listening. I was looking up.
First fucking things I said.
In fairness, I was looking up Mac Jones and the Colts defensive touchdowns plus 600.
Yeah.
By the way,
was it plus
It is
600?
plus 600.
Okay, yeah. I still might sprinkle on that one. So,
Yeah.
I don't know your thoughts on that. Do I turn it around this week with my best bets?
I don't think so. I lean Cleveland. I almost,
God damn it!
Here's the deal. These two teams, they play each other close. Right? It's just what they do. I
28-3.
know the Ravens won 28-3, but throw that out. Dorian Thompson-Robinson, just stop. Cleveland last year won 13-3. Ravens won 23-20. Year before, 24-22, 16-10.
Fair.
47-42, even the shootouts.
Fair.
They just play close, and they're the two best defenses in the league. So for me, when I look at 6, it just feels like a big number. I also don't want to run in front of the Ravens the way they're playing right now. We talked about this before the show. I wanted to bet Cleveland, not because the Ravens were your best bet. It was actually before that. I'm thinking,
Sure.
okay, the Ravens just been so hot. It's almost time to, just fade them, but I don't know. To your point.
I'm not fading this team. Sorry.
No, to your point, the one thing about the Ravens, when they play a team like Cleveland who's so good against the pass, I wonder if they have enough weapons in the passing game to get things going. Like, OBJ looked great last week. Can he do it against Cleveland? Like, if he puts up a game like he did last week, Ravens are going to be tough to beat. I'll just say that.
I know it was garbage time, but Keaton Mitchell out of the backfield,
he's an
undrafted
explosive
rookie,
player.
looks like an explosive player. I'm shocked he was undrafted, quite frankly.
He flies.
So I think they found. I know it was garbage time, but I think they kind of discovered something last
Gus
week.
Edwards is playing great for Gus Edwards. I mean,
especially on the goal line,
Yeah,
just
it's
hand it
crazy.
off and he pounds it in every time. But I think you're going to see a lot more Keaton Mitchell this week and less Justice Hill.
I think that's
Especially the short dip and dunks here out of the backfield, and I don't know. I have a lot of confidence in this Ravens offense. I think they can win by a touchdown.
You know
Simple
what?
as
I'm
that.
off Cleveland. I'm rooting for you. I'm rooting for the show. I won't put any money on Cleveland, but if it's +6, I'm going to
Again, for anybody listening right now, the smart better would be to fade me. I'm calling it like it is. Calling it like it is. It's my best bet.
If you're going to be the Pats, 2-8.
Yeah. Listen, I'm trying my hardest here to
You
bounce
sure
back
are.
and get
You
this.
sure are. You've tried different things. You're so overthinking
I
everything
had a
at this
point total. Yeah, I
that
know.
It's just funny.
I don't think this is an overthink. I think the Ravens can beat the Browns by 7. I don't think it's an overthink.
That's fair. That's fair. It's fair.
But if you're a smart gambler, follow the trends. Fade me.
The trend is Tucker is 2-7 in best.
I'm calling it like it is.
That
I'm
is what
not
it
going to
is.
defend myself.
You got to have
here.
your confidence.
You follow the trends in gambling. The trend is I suck at best bets. So fade me.
But pick the other
Ravens
picks are great.
-6, best bet. Shingles, best bet.
Shingles best bet.
All right. I think that's going to do it for us then, right?
Yeah. What else do you go from there?
I don't know. Hopefully I can get a friggin' best bet. That's there's part of me that's almost rooting that I don't get it.
It's kind of
Just because it's kind of hilarious at this point. Because my overall, again, is good. I'm 10 games above 500.
yeah.
What do you want from me?
61% here.
Just fade my best bet. Simple as that.
61% with the 2-7 best bet.
Show announcement. Next week, we'll be joined by Joe Murray of 98.5 The Sports Hub at the TD Garden Studios, right inside a card vault there. Very, very excited for that one. I would anticipate that's going to be a much longer podcast if Joe has the time, because we're probably going to talk a lot more than gambling.
Yep.
And I'm going to let Hurley know, be like, hey, this one might go for a while. Just a heads up.
Buckle up,
Might
Hurley.
want to get a coffee. Because
Enjoy your vacation.
We're probably going to go off the rails
Yeah,
next
enjoy
week.
your vacation, Hurley, because next week we're doubling up.
Yeah, so unless Joe did clarify that, unless he gets pulled into a different shift, which has been happening
It does happen.
on occasion, but he does not foresee that happening. So he'll be joining us next week on the podcast. So very much looking forward to that. I've been working with Joe for over a decade now.
Awesome. Great guy.
Yeah, very, very good guy. So looking forward to that. Again, follow us on Twitter, Instagram, subscribe to us on YouTube at Better In Laws. Please leave us a review. Any final thoughts for you, Matt?
No, nothing.
Okay. Thank you again to Ben Kitchen
Yes.
for filling in this week.
Ben,
Great
thank
job,
you very
Ben.
much, my
Appreciate
friend.
that.
Appreciate it.
That's going to do it for us. I'm Tuck Silva. He's Matt Prisco. See you guys.
See you later.
Bye-bye.